Hey, do you have a friend that just can't seem to stop criticizing? Maybe they criticize everything from how you dress to the food that you eat to what you dress like, maybe your career choices, all kinds of things like that. You've probably tried all kinds of ways to get this person off your back, and nothing seems to work. Well, if the criticism just seems like it's getting too much to handle, then here's some tips that'll help you when you've got a friend that just won't seem to stop criticizing. Hi, I'm Martin Eisenheimer, Momentum Maker, helping personal growth seekers end the cycle of constant overthinking, distraction, and procrastination. End it fast so that they can finally move forward in building the life of their dreams. And I'm inspired this week by conversations I'm having in my Facebook group. This one comes from one of those conversations. It's from my friend Jalen, he wrote the following. I'm going to read this. Jalen wrote, "Never in my life have I experienced so much hate and disrespect since I lost weight. I was told to my face, you look like you're on crack. If you turn sideways, you'll be invisible. You are unhealthy. You need to stop. You looked better chubby." And the list goes on and on. He says, even his boss pulled him aside thinking, hey, are you sick? You have a problem that we need to work on here? All of his hard work, he feels like, just to get ridiculed. It doesn't make sense. So he actually started eating junk food again. And then he put on 15 pounds, so it's kind of like in his mind, it's either endure the criticism or, go to the least common denominator like everyone else. So curious, do you have a friend that won't stop criticizing? Pop it in the chat, pop it in the comments. I'm curious to know what you're struggling with. Do you have a friend who criticizes everything that you do? I recently came upon this article, 8 helpful tips, 8 helpful ways to deal with critical people. And I think the strategies in here are really amazing. It probably would be very helpful for you. It comes from Personal Excellence magazine online. First thing that they recommend is, number one, don't take it personal. If someone's being hypercritical of you, almost never, ever, ever is it about you. It's about them. It's about an issue that they've got going on. In the past, I used to take criticism really hard and very personal, and I let it eat at me. And it can be really discouraging, and it can make you become very defensive when you're under that kind of attack, but it's not helpful to anyone. Secondly, be objective. Objectify the comments and try to figure out what's the underlying message. What's really going on for this person? There might be good advice actually in what they're saying. And if we can just take a step back, not get defensive or reactive right away, and take a breath. Just take that pause, take a breath, and say, is there something here for me to learn? Is there some validity to what they're saying? Maybe not 100%. Is there a kernel of truth that I could actually take and learn from? What if that were the case? Might that actually be valuable? So see how you can take something that feels so negative and just turn around into something that's actually a gift to you. But it's all about how you respond, how you interpret, and how you react. There's a good, if you can get, one of the phrases I liked here, it says, if you can get past the how and focus on the what, you gain a lot of wealth of information about what's going on in people's minds. So instead of focusing on how they're phrasing things, maybe what they're phrasing, maybe it's the wrong choice of words that they're using. Maybe they're accurate, but they just don't have the skills with language. And so there's truth to what they're saying, but they're not saying it very well, is the kind of thing. All right, third thing, take it as a source of honest feedback. You could, it doesn't always have to be a choice of whether someone's being critical or being honest. Some people will claim, oh, I'm just honest that way. I just tell it straight up, I tell it like it is. It doesn't exonerate them from the responsibility of being kind and considerate of other people. And that's not what we're saying here at all. It's just, how are you going to reply? How are you going to respond is going to dictate how that relationship goes, how you feel about them, and ultimately the kind of energy you're carrying around with yourself all day long. All right, fourth thing, address your discomfort within. When someone's critical of you, it's natural not to feel right inside. You start to feel really uncomfortable about it. Just as the criticism from other people reflects something about their inner framework, our discomfort with their criticism reflects something about ourselves also, especially if we keep getting bothered by it. It's one thing to be bothered once, but if it happens over and over, every time you get all bent out of shape, it means you're not learning anything, and there's probably something to what they're saying. So the recommendation is this: sources of discomfort should be seen as an opportunity for your own growth. Okay, something that is often that you could often say is fear, uncertainty, and discomfort are my compass towards growth. So fear, uncertainty, and discomfort. If the criticism is causing discomfort, think of it, that should be a trigger saying, hey, here's an opportunity for me to grow because I'm noticing discomfort. Ask yourself, why am I feeling uncomfortable with his or her comment? Why am I unhappy about what this person is saying? What is it that's bothering me? See if we can get at the root of that. That's where the gift lies. All right, fifth thing, don't ask for other people's opinions if you don't really want it. A lot of people make this mistake. It's happened to me recently where I was asked, I don't even remember exactly what it is. It's kind of like, hey, how does this shirt look on me? And if you're going to ask me, I'll tell you what I really think most of the time anyway. But don't ask me if you don't really want to know. And then don't be offended if I tell you something you didn't want to hear. And finally, or not finally, but sixth thing is you can't just choose to ignore. And that ignoring can discourage them. So if you don't engage back to their criticism, it takes the fun away. I mean, I know that sounds really weird, kind of strange, like fun. Other people are having fun when they're critical, in a way. Maybe I'm stretching language there, but if you just simply don't engage in it, just say, okay, thank you, and then move on. Just move on to another topic. What are they going to do? They're not going to. Most people are not going to just keep on hounding and hounding. If that's the case, then it's probably time to move on in the relationship and end it. Seventh thing, number 7. Show them kindness. This is not typical in our culture. Usually, when someone comes at us, we go at them, and then it's this situation. But if someone comes at us, and instead of this, it's just stepping aside and letting their energy go. Just step aside and let that energy, if they're coming at you with a fist, just step out of the way and just let them go by. That's kindness. That's just being more human. And the very last thing is, if it just gets to be too intense, too much to handle, you can start limiting your interactions. If it's somebody at work, you may not always have that option, but you can limit the amount of time you spend with someone, limit the amount of engagement you have with them. And if it's someone who's a friend of yours, then you do have the choice of just simply ending the relationship. The bottom line is take care of yourself. And all of these 8 tips, and let me review them really quickly. Number 1, don't take it personally. Number 2, be objective. Look for objectivity in their criticism. 3, take it as honest feedback. 4, address your discomfort with them. Number 5, don't ask for opinions unless you want them. 6, disengage or ignore. 7, show them kindness. 8, avoid them. All right, there you have it. I hope that was helpful. I hope that you got a great deal of benefit from it. If you did, as always, please feel free to write your comment below. I want to know what you're struggling with. What kinds of criticism? Do you have somebody in your life who's currently that person? If you do, I'd love to hear it. Maybe we can have a conversation. Until next time, I'm Martin Meisenheimer.